Hey Internet, I'm Hawk and this is Talk of Better Worlds. I've been hooked on Balers Gate 3 for a while now, and it got me thinking about CRPGs I'd like to go back and play sometime again. So I put together a list of a few that I think are great, and definitely worth looking into if you've never played them, or worth revisiting if you have played them before. So stay a while and listen, while I go over 5 great CRPGs that I think are worth every second of investment. All footage shown is from early in the games and has only minor spoilers at most. At number 1, we have Tyranny. Tyranny is so underrated in my opinion. I've seen a good deal of people talk about it, and it seems to make its way onto list videos like these sometimes, but I still think far too few people have played this game. Tyranny is a really cool and unique spin on the more traditional RPG formula. I've heard a good deal of people refer to it as the game where you get to, quote, be the bad guy, but it's kind of more than that. You can be the bad guy for sure, but you could also be good. What makes it different is that while you can be good, you have to do so with your hands tied, because the world around you is completely evil. The game takes place in a world where an all-powerful evil overlord has won. They won the war a long time ago. All that remains is a tiny sliver of land at the edge of the continent that still has yet to fight back. You find yourself in the position of a judge of sorts. You can make decisions that determine the fate of both friends and foes alike. And you're honored with the task of proclaiming an edict. Edicts are spells, basically. But spells that can make it rain fire for years, or literally tear a land apart like it's paper. They can cause winds that rip armies to pieces, and bring untold devastation. Once an edict is read, it will be made so. You are given an edict that traps you in a land where some formerly conquered people are rebelling. And what you do with those people, and that land, is up to you. But the bottom line is the edict is coming. You have to make a choice, and you have to make something happen as soon as you can. You can give in to the command of your overlord, and be as evil as you desire, or you can subtly fight the evil, trying to save whoever you can, and maybe, hopefully, change the terrible world that you live in for the better. I can't think of many games that play with morality quite like Tyranny, and it's worth checking out for that alone, in my opinion. Now at number 2, we have Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity is a more traditional CRPG experience, but what I really love about it is the world it takes place in. The world is strange. Not Planescape strange, but still quite weird compared to most other fantasy settings. There's gods and ancient histories that you'll learn of, and it always has something new and either really weird or really messed up for you to discover. The story has some pretty big and, in my experience, very unexpected twists that pop up later. I always like a game world that challenges and diverges from the norm. Pillars is the first of 2 games, and most people who played both of them say that Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire is the better of the games. I have yet to unfortunately play that one, so I could only recommend the first one off of my own experience. But from what I hear, you could play 2 without having beaten 1, but some things will be misunderstood or just not appreciated as much. Pillars kind of breaks from a lot of the tropes we see in fantasy RPGs of its kind, and I always really appreciate that. I definitely recommend at least checking this one out. At number 3, we have Balers Gate 3. Okay, I did just do a video on Balers Gate 3, and this may kind of be a bit of a cheat, but I can't make a list of great CRPGs, or even RPGs in general, and not list Balers Gate 3. This game is one of the few games that totally warranted the hype, and deserves every bit of praise it receives. I never expected to get a new Balers Gate game at this time, and it was a pleasant shock when they dropped the teaser years ago. What can I say about Balers Gate 3 that hasn't been said by myself or others at this point? It's an award-winning Game of the Year that blends the best of all RPG styles. It has a gripping story, its gameplay is great, and I intend on beating it like 5 more times at the very least. The choices are insane, and there's a whole 2 extra playthroughs available with the Dark Urge origin. You could both give in to the urge, or fight the urge. I hope Balers Gate 3 inspires RPGs like The Witcher 3 did. Larian said they won't be making another Balers Gate game, so I look forward to the next game that they bless us with. But in the meantime, play Balers Gate 3. It's way too good to miss. At number 4, we have Rogue Trader. I wanted to mix it up a bit with a game that isn't fantasy, because while I love fantasy, I think there's value in so many other settings and genres. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is, in my opinion, the best Warhammer 40k game made to date. Don't get me wrong, I love Space Marine, Dawn of War, Inquisitor Martyr, Sanctus Reach, Mechanicus, Battle Sector, etc., etc. If there's a game set in 40k, I have it and I love it. I've been fully immersed in the 40k universe since I was a little kid, when a friend of mine first showed me his Space Marine models. I was blown away. My first army was the Eldar, and that was back when they were all metal models. That was a mistake. But needless to say, I love 40k. Sir Felix can attest to that because I go on binges and can't shut up about it every few months. So, when I heard that the people who made Pathfinder, the Pathfinder RPGs, were going to make a 40k RPG, where you get to play as a rogue trader, I instinctively got my wallet ready. It's a problem. Rogue Trader perfectly captures the look and feel of the 40k universe. It also really lets you see all sides of life in that hellish setting, from the high and mighty planetary governors to lowly workers in the crypt-like bowels of a ship that's flown the void for over 1,000 years. You get to see it all. But more importantly, you get to make an impact on it all. Like the Pathfinder games, Rogue Trader will make you read a ton of stuff. If you need voice acting, this may not be the game for you. But much like some movies with subtitles, sometimes the best things are those you have to work a little bit for. If you can get past the unholy walls of text, there's an amazing story set in an unfathomably dense and rich universe that has been expanded upon for the last, 40 years. Rogue Traders have an incredibly unique position in the 40k universe, and you really get to explore that in this game. They're some of the most powerful and feared people in the entire setting, yet still answer to the politics of the Imperium, and will always have to answer to the Emperor himself. If you are at all interested in 40k, or really good RPGs in general, you should buy this game. I'll also add that if you are new to the 40k setting, or not super familiar with it, the game does have an encyclopedia for literally everything you come across. From strange phrases, devices, words, concepts, it's all expanded on in this easily accessible codex. Even if you're a veteran of 40k, you'll still need it at some point. It's definitely worth checking out. And finally, at number 5, we have Wasteland III. While it's the last one on this list, it's certainly far from the least. And if I didn't add this to the list, Sir Felix would have my beaky head. But I in no way disagree that it absolutely belongs on a list of great CRPGs. Wasteland is a franchise that's been around for a long, long time. Longer than most of us have. I never played the first one, and thankfully they've remade it to be more accessible to modern systems and gamers, but some games are just too old at this point to enjoy, even if you loved them back when they were new. But Wasteland really kicked off in popularity with Wasteland 2, which was a great game, if not kind of frustrating at times. It's kind of funny to me that Wasteland 1 inspired Fallout, but then Fallout inspired elements of Wasteland 2 and 3. The third game, however, diverges more from its own past and Fallout, and it does so very well. Wasteland 3 takes place in Colorado, a snowy hellscape under the iron grip of someone known only as the Patriarch. The Patriarch has some family troubles, let's say. And he calls in the Arizona Rangers to help him with family counseling. And by counseling, I mean hunting down and capturing or killing. The Arizona Rangers need more supplies, and a safe route for them to rebuild back in Arizona. To do that, they need to get help from this patriarch, and he offers them a deal. If the Rangers help him fix his family drama, he'll help them with supplies and rebuilding the Order. Now, what makes Wasteland 3 really fun is, you could deal with this dilemma in a ton of different ways. There are a good deal of wild and diverse factions that you can totally annihilate or work with to your content. The game is fully voice acted, and it's really nice to see a post-apocalypse game that isn't in the desert. I think Wasteland 3 is the best in the series from what I know of 1, and what I've played of 2. It's worth checking out if you like old Fallout games or want a new post-apocalypse RPG that feels fresh. The whole game is voice acted as well, if that's something you need. And that's it. 5 CRPGs that I think are worth your time, and should at the very least be checked out if you haven't already. And that about does it for my CRPG kick, at least for now. Thank you for listening, and leave a comment with any CRPGs you like. Let us know if you want us to do a video on something else too. We're always open to suggestions. While it is our channel, we would like to make things you want to see. Thanks for watching and listening.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.